What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday or whatever it is you're watching this. We are getting you ready for the PGA event this weekend. I had the information from me, but then there seems to be some of a party outside my window. So sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. So Sheets, you want to tell us a little bit about this event and what your thoughts are?
Party.
I think that some people are sort of doing a little celebration thing, the inauguration celebration. So.
Oh, that. Oh, okay.
What?
Not even get me started.
Okay. Why can't people enjoy the day?
I don't know. I've just never been much for the I don't know. I just don't get the point.
Yeah.
I just don't get the point. I mean, I'm watching at the spending of the resources on this. I don't know.
I'm not talking about the actual event itself. I'm just.
That's what I'm talking. Oh, you mean people just celebrating whatever?
Celebrating the inauguration. The fact
I'm not going to be the moral arbiter of what people want to celebrate. I'm talking about the actual, structured inauguration ceremony, which is like a thing of like the past.
I understand. All right, let's get to it.
Yep.
So let's go. So first thoughts on the slate, overall course thoughts. Anybody specific you like? Anything?
Yeah, no. So as usual, it's a what was interesting is that Rahm was supposed to play and he got ruled out, and I honestly don't even know why. I didn't even follow up on it. So what it left was guys at the top that I found very beatable. And basically, I mean, and I did this last week when I did a video. I mean, I'm really just kind of all about just sharing my process. And for me, again, I just gathered some projections. I looked at the content of people I like Rick Rungood. I like the other guys. And honestly, if somebody likes somebody, I just kind of like up the projection just like a little bit, right? And then I just kind of compile everything. I look at everything and then I say, okay, given who I think looks okay, what is their ownership? And then see if I could find guys that look okay, who are low owned, and just kind of roll with it, and that's just kind of how I do it.
I like it. It makes a lot of sense. I do similar. I mean, I'm similar. I try to research. Golf is not my expertise, but when you start noticing things you're looking for, and then you also know that what everybody else seems to, put out there's a lot of good content out there that definitely I find helpful. So what
we'll do is we'll go through like these tiers, and I'll just kind of like, as we go through them, say who I like and say who I think's too high owned and too low owned, and you guys can build it however you want.
Yep, let's do it.
And so at the 10K range, like I'm actually having zero of Cantlay. I mean, not because particularly, I just have him ranked like not as good as some of these like middle range guys. And he's going to be, I have him at about 25% owned. So for me, I'm just going to be fading him.
Mm-hmm.
Other guys in that range, Koepka. And again, Koepka's a weird one because he always projects poorly and I never have him. And sometimes he makes me look funny sometimes, but I'm going to have zero him too. Finau, for those of you kind of follow it, I actually have him in my main lineup on FanDuel. But on DraftKings, I'll have zero of him also.
Oh wow! Okay. I think he's one of the chalkier guy, or not chalkier necessarily, but I think he's gonna have some. I think all three of those guys you named are gonna have some pretty decent ownerships. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play him. But Patrick Reed, him I'm gonna play, and he's gonna be extremely high owned also.
Right.
I have him as like one of, if not the top highest owned, or at least close to. I have him and Scotty Scheffler as being the two highest owned, and just that Reed just projects like all the way at the top for me. So for me, I'd rather take a high owned guy that I think's going to really do it, as opposed to like a high owned guy that I just have kind of doubts about. So for me, at the top, I'm going to be taking Patrick Reed of those 10K guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you with Patrick Reed. He'll be the one I have the most of, but I will have some Finau as well, even though I hate always anytime playing Finau as my top spend. But I think that there's other guys who can win the tournament that are in the other tiers. So I don't think it has to be one of these guys. I do have Reed as my top guy though from that range. You want to go to the 9Ks?
Yeah. So I guess we'll just do the same thing. So in the 9Ks, and again, I don't do this on purpose, okay? But my favorite guy in the 9K, and I'm going from 9K all the way to 99,000 all the way to 9,900, right? So even though he's going to be about 20% owned, I still like Abraham Answer at 9,100. The other guy, how I mentioned, who again, who's going to be chalky, is Scotty Scheffler. So he's one of those weird guys where I have him ranked as kind of like a top 5 value, but I have to really, make sure I don't play too much for him because he is going to be like 30% owned, right? But I do like him. So if you do have, find some of the lower owned guys to pair with him, I do think that he's really, really good. And if you go all the way up to the top of the 9Ks, I like Sunjay Im also. And I have him like kind of like a top 10-ish type guy. And he's going to be owned, but maybe not the end of the world. He's going to be like 20%. So I like him a little bit. So for me in the 9Ks, I'm honestly, not that much. I mean, like Im, I mentioned, Scheffler, although too chalky. And my favorite of that is Answer. Now, when I scroll down here, like there's a lot of guys that I mentioned that are going to be owned that I don't want any of. Like Henley's going to be 9K. I have him like 17 to 20% on. I'm not going to play him. I guess there isn't that much in the 9K. Oh yeah, so hey, God help me. I mean, he's probably going to win the whole tournament, but I'm not going to be playing him. Is Matt Wolff? Yeah. I don't know why I'm not playing him exactly, but I just have to trust my numbers a little bit.
Yeah,
and he just kind of ranks the bottom guy, and he's still going to be like between 10-15% owned. That's going to be the one, like when we go through later, like who don't you have that's going to win? And I guess he's going to be the one, because when I first looked, I did kind of like him, but I'm kind of off of him now.
Yeah, I think he has. So I agree with everybody else you said, but I do have interest in Wolff. There's just too much upside for me to ignore him. And I think that the projections with him we just got to accept that they're wrong. I really think that's
fair enough.
Because I mean, we've gone through this a bunch of times, and it's really hard to project on these young guys, especially who seem to do things a little bit differently. And so that's just my sort of thought. But I also do like Scheffler, unfortunately, at high ownership. I like Answer as well. And I also have interest in Sunjay Im. So I unfortunately am not too different from you there, with the exception of I'm adding Matt Wolff into my pool.
Okay. The 8K, one of mine, and I can't forget to mention the guys that are actually in the lineups. So Brian Harman is my favorite guy in the 8K range. Now he's going to get I have him at about 10%, which is fine for me. I mean, considering where he is. So he's my favorite, and I don't know how much else I'm going to have of anybody in the 8K range. I'm going to go over some of these guys like that I think are going to be owned that I'm not going to have. So actually, Paul Casey's only going to be 10%. The Siwoo Kim's going to be over 10%. I guess I'm not like giving up on that much. Like I guess there's nobody in the 8K range that I'm just kind of I'm fading, right? I mean, is there any like really popular 8K guy that I'm forgetting? Because I don't have
the only guys in the 8K that I'm playing, and one will be popular, will be Sam Burns and Brian Harman.
Right. Okay. So Sam Burns is the weird one. So Sam Burns is he's another one. Like between what's his face? The guy you mentioned, Matt Wolff and Sam Burns. Those are the two guys that I was expecting to play, but I just am not. So what I'm doing, again, this is the way my process works. So I'm going to play them anyway. So like now, but like I know that you like them, I'm totally going to just put them right back in. I mean, maybe not like 100% obviously, but they're definitely going to be part of the player pool again. So Sam Burns is definitely one of those guys.
We got some pretty big basketball news that we'll have to touch on in a little bit. Pretty big, unfortunate news.
Oh no.
Just they postponed the Portland game.
Don't tell me. I didn't hear you, so don't.
Sorry. Good. Okay.
We'll talk afterwards.
7Ks. Okay, so 7K sheets. So give me who you got.
All right. Top play, 2 top plays, actually 3 top plays in the slate. So 7Ks, that's where all my discussion is going to come from. So there's a guy, and I don't know if you remember this. There's a guy that I mentioned when Rick was on the show. And I'm like, how come your model always comes up with X, right? So I don't know, it just always does. I'm like, how come you always seem to like this guy? And he's like, I don't know, I always seem to. But he never really seems to show up in my projections, but I throw him in anyway, just out of respect, right? Every once in a while he comes on in. This week, I'm seeing him, and I'm seeing him at about 10% ownership at the most. So we are playing John Hutt, H-U-H, at 7,200.
I got it. I'm in.
So he's going to be, I'm playing him. Now these are some other 7K guys I like, but I think like really this is where you win. Kevin Streelman at 7,200. Joel Dahman at 7,500. Sepp Straka at 7,400. I'll give you three other guys, and then one guy I struggle with. Taylor Gooch, Cameron Tringale, and Cam Davis. So this is shout out to Rick. So and I remember I watched his video and I was all set for this. He says, well, obviously the chalkiest play on the slate is going to be X. So you're going to have to figure out whether to play him or not, because he's obviously the best value and obviously everybody's going to play him. So I'm like, all right, I'll end up fading him. And then it turns out he doesn't project all that well by the rest of the media. And as a result, apparently no one's playing him. And so I'll just throw it out there. Rick, if you're out there, you yell at me for giving it, but Doc Redman is, that's just all that I got for him. He was he was like so confident that he was going to be the highest owned easy value play. And yet for some reason, he's not projected well. Nobody's playing him. Mm-hmm. That's good enough for me. I'm going to throw him in.
My prediction is they do end up playing him, but I still like the play a lot.
Okay.
I don't know how much, but I do think that he's got some traction going.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so those are that. Again, and there are probably others. So who did I miss? Who do you like? Who do you dislike?
Actually, I don't have as many as you think. Cam Davis, I have a little bit of interest. I like Charles Howell III.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and actually, I'm surprised that people aren't on him a little bit more. I like Redman as well. I like Straka as well. And I didn't have a whole different take. I was debating sort of Straka and Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch is going to be slightly lower owned probably, but I do think I still like Straka. And then there's the old, the guy nobody ever plays for some reason, the guy who just wins a tournament last time out, and maybe play a little bit of Brendan Steele.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where I'm at there.
So here's my only speech with 6Ks. The only guy who's kind of piercing into my thing is Patrick Rogers, and he's 0% owned pretty much. So that's the one guy. And here's another guy. I'll throw him out there. From two different places, came in saying, "Ooh, this guy's sneaky and he's playing well and nobody knows about him." Coming from two different angles, so I figured he would get some traction. If he doesn't, I'll just kind of flick him in a little bit. And the guy is Kramer Hickok. Don't have any idea. Apparently he's been playing much better recently and he's under 7K. And it's one of those weird things where I just had a weird feeling that because of like where the info came from, that somehow people would pick up on it and he would get owned. And again, with golf with so much variance, that's good enough for me. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'll throw him in a couple. I'm playing probably 20 lineups total. So I'll flick him in one. I'll flick in the Redman in one. So I got a couple of flickers, so to speak. So if you want to throw that into the pile, Kramer Hickok.
All right. Yeah, I can. I literally didn't know who that was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I get it. All right, let me see one thing I've got real quick. I'm just making sure what my thing was. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so I've got basically the only other guy I have in the 6K range that you didn't mention. I like the idea of the Patrick Rogers a little bit. And
ooh, okay.
I also I like Sepp. I'm sorry, I already said Sepp Straka. For some reason, I've got my sheet all wrong here for a second. Oh, Doug Gim is just someone whose name I've heard repeatedly, and I just had him on my list to consider. I actually haven't investigated him too deeply yet, partially because I do like Rogers, but also I didn't find myself down in this range as much as I might have thought. I don't know what else to say about it. Like I just didn't see a whole bunch down here that I needed to get to or necessarily wanted to get to. So it would only be to be contrarian, and I didn't find a whole lot of other guys. But maybe I'm missing some. I really don't have. Christoph Ventura was another one who I looked at. If I was mass multi-entering, I had him at like a 5% guy. Von Taylor, same thing. Tyler Duncan, but I don't love any of those guys. What about Norlander? Why are we?
Yeah, if I had ever cashed a ticket on Norlander, I'd be more into it. I mean, the guy, like every time I play him, he misses the cut. Like literally every time.
He went through a hot streak in the middle of the summer when things just came back, but then it kind of cooled off. Yeah.
You mean Norland. Oh, I got him confused with the other one with Alex Noren.
Oh yeah.
They both suck. I shouldn't say it, obviously.
No, they're good.
But they both have, let's say they both have not performed when I've needed them to the most. Let's put it that way. So.
Kramer Hickok, I actually see now that a couple of other people wrote. I haven't read what they wrote, but
they got a little something, get a little thing.
Yeah,
all right,
maybe there's something to that. So I'm gonna take a look at them just as I get off there. All right. So to reiterate, like if Sheets, if there's one guy you had to play, do you want to do a quick thing like,
Sure.
we do our who's gonna win and top 5, right? And
sure, I am going to, and this is really screwed up. So I'll just tell you this. I have like 3 different ownership things. What for the John Hub? One has them at 8%. Your boys have them at 4%, and another site has them at 19%.
that's
So
really
I
weird.
have no idea. But he's gonna be my guy. But you want to do that? Okay, so let's do it this way. So let's say who's gonna win top. You have to win the tournament. Let's pick one. Anybody.
To win the tournament, I'm going to take. I'm gonna say F it and just take Matt Wolf, even though I don't think that's the most likely thing. I actually think that there's a reasonable. I actually like it. I actually like that.
I'm gonna go with Patrick Reed.
He would have been my other guy.
So now we got to go with 9K guy that makes the top 5.
9K that makes the top 5 for me would be. I was gonna say your guy too. I'll just go with. I'll go with Scotty Scheffler. I was gonna say Answer, but I'll let you take him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Honest Dave.
Yeah, I actually like him better too. I just wanted to give.
Yep.
This was your call, kind of.
How about so now we need 8K, I guess, to make the top 10. No, that's a little asking. That's asking a little much.
Top 15, we could say, even though it's
okay, top 15 for 8K.
Brian Harmon.
Yeah, so Brian Harmon, that puts me in a little bit of a pickle.
All right, you could take Brian Harmon.
No, that's fine. The pickles are important. But I don't want to take you know what I'm going to take then? I got to have him somewhere, so I'll take Sam Burns.
That's what I was going to, yeah, that's what I was going to, my other one would have been.
Those are our 2 plays in that range. How about that?
And I'll let you have the because I like him a lot too.
Yeah, so we'll both take the we'll take another guy. You gotta be 7,500 or less to.
I'll take Redmond.
Redmond. All right, then I'll take Streelman.
Okay, nice. Okay, Streelman. And then I guess we'll just say that I'll save it for my 6K guys. I actually like the Rogers thing, but I actually forgot to mention Mark Hubbard also is another guy.
Ooh, that's actually the next guy that I have. So we'll give you Rogers, we'll give you Hubbard, and we'll give you Cosmo Kramer Hickok.
Yeah, that's right. Cosmo Kramer Hickok. I like it. All right, guys, that was good. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let us know what you think, and good luck. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.
All right, later, guys.